crushes Waterford at that point, and it has the potential, given that this is probably going to be Derek McGrath's last year, to end his managerial career at Waterford. He comes out afterwards and is unbelievably calm about the whole thing and is very measured and says, look, we need to move on and we're not going to dwell on that too long. But it's not a decision that changes just the momentum of one game. It could be an entire career look back on and going, what? And that's the importance of these decisions. It's like, it all measures even itself out over the course of a season or a year, but that's bollocks, it doesn't.
Yeah. I mean, you know, we'll be talking about the VAR that's been introduced into the World Cup for this one as well, and we've seen decisions that have been made in big tournaments that have affected them. But this one in particular, you look at it, you think, if there is any doubt, you know, you say that one of the umpires gives it, the other's not so sure, so doesn't give it, whatever. So if there is an element of doubt, and that's always been the case with refereeing decisions, then you don't give it. You simply don't give it, because you almost then you go to the other side. If it should have been given, then it's all. I always personally think it would be a bigger or a lesser incident than something that's been given for clearly that hasn't been over the line. Sometimes you can think, well, he's missed it, fair enough, that's what it would be. But the Hawkeye, particularly with the ring for the points, I don't understand how it can't be the case that they can't just have introduced those to the goals anyway. Personally, I don't. And I think personally it would have to come in. It have to, certainly with that incident there at the weekend, that, as you say, it can cost careers. And it does. I've obviously been on the end of one or two myself. You look back and you think, if certain decisions have been made by referees and officials, it can dictate your career, and it can almost that can be the legacy of your career in many respects as well. That's the way that it is.
And okay, so I mean, obviously it took ages for football, and it still hasn't caught up to the point where. Well,
it's still not great, is it? It still needs.
No. So Thierry Henry's handball could still happen.
Yeah.
I mean, does that go to VAR? Probably does.
Yeah, well, definitely. Yeah, that would have been VAR. Yeah, definitely.
The other issue here, and I think that maybe this is being lost in this, is that, and the very defensive. So thanks to all the kind words about yesterday's photo and to all the newspapers and media for today's use. That's sports file POM. It's the same picture used in all the back of yesterday's newspapers, where it's clear that the ball is not over the line. Now, I mean, he could have pulled it out.
Even watching it live, though, you didn't look it. You know, watching
it didn't look anywhere near it.
No, it didn't look it watching it live. It wasn't. If you sometimes think, oh, wait for the replay on that one.
It's like
has he seen the
goal that Ireland conceded last week, where Seamus Coleman was kind of clearing it from 5 yards behind the line.
Yeah.
Like, good man, Seamus, for trying, but like that was nowhere near it. The other thing is that the umpires are not qualified referees. They're mates of the referee. That's how they're selected. He picks his mates to be umpires, people he trusts. And they don't have any qualifications. They don't have any. There's training for them, which apparently is relatively well attended, according to a piece in the Irish Times today. But it's not mandatory. It's not that they are qualified inter-county referees who could at some point step in if the referee needed replacement, or that they're even qualified to run the line. They're not. They're just picked by the referee because they're people he trusts.
Oh,
that's it.
Right.
That is the level of qualification they have for deciding people's careers.
Yeah.
And so I think that's been a little bit lost in the whole, well, we have VAR, because it's like it'll be 5 years before we get proper VAR system for every ground, and maybe they'll only have it in Croker and they won't have it in the Gaelic grounds. But in the meantime, get better umpires.
Yeah.
But they're not for turning on that either. It's like, no, the system works very well.
It's an easy thing to say, look, how often does this sort of incident rear its head? But as you say, they rear their head in career-defining moments. That's the big thing, you know. If Waterford go now in the next couple of weeks, whatever it will be, then this is defining their season. Because of how well they played, particularly after last week, and they've come back this week and played really well. They've got a few injuries, a few of the lads that were injured back, and as you say, these are big moments in people's careers. It's not just one game, and we can talk about it here on a Monday morning. This is exactly what you're saying there. Defining, so defining.
That is the point that you're making as well. One mistake, however bad, doesn't mean, though, that the system is broken. And then they're pointing out that, like, this is in the Irish Times today, from somebody from the GAA who doesn't identify themselves, which is unfortunate, really, because it's much better if everybody just comes out and goes, yeah, I'm speaking on behalf of the GAA, and this is my general thoughts. Now, it's a source within Croke Park saying this, and I don't really understand why they feel the need to hide behind anonymity, when actually what everybody needs is just to have an honest conversation. Look, lads, this is what we think. We think that it's grand because this is only the second incident in 10 years. And then we can at least know whose view the point this is. But they don't. And look, it's a small point, but Why not just come out and say who you are? Anyway, we have Hawkeye in Croke Park and Semple Stadium, but we've used it less than once per game, which puts the original problem into some sort of context. Fair enough. But you have it, use it, and when you do use it, everybody in the crowd goes, well, that's fine, we know exactly what happens.
Yeah.